You are now listening to the Going North podcast, where you'll receive tips and techniques to advance yourself. I'm your host, Dom Brightman, and every week we're going to be hearing from an author who's going to share their expertise to help you charge forward in life. On a quick side note, be sure to check out Going North the book. It's available in ebook, audio, as well as paperback form for those who love to read a traditional book. Now let's get on with the show. And today on the Going North podcast, we bring you some fabulous humans from across the globe. Today is no different. Because we got another fabulous author in the house today, another fabulous author, especially with this particular guest in particular, because this guest right here, my goodness, first time in a while. Actually, I think probably one of the first times ever. A seasoned lawyer, C-suite executive, and business strategist, as well as an architect for change. This fabulous lady right here released the first book, Solutionaries, You Are the Answer, back in 2018, which became an instant bestseller, and which is extra fabulous because Les Brown wrote the foreword for that fabulous book. Because that book gives individuals a path forward to fill their heart accounts as well as their bank accounts. And not only that, she's not a one and done type of gal, because she's got another book coming out soon called The Social Responsibility Toolkit, which is assisting small to medium sized companies in their efforts to create social impact strategies that support their business strategies and give them a competitive edge. And that'll be released later this year with 2020 vision. Hopefully, the CV-19 will disappear for like ever when that book releases. So let's give it up for the fabulous Triple L herself, Ms. Linda Lattimore. How are you today, ma'am?
I'm great. Oh my gosh, I haven't heard Triple L since high school. I love that. In fact, they used to call me Trip, which really had me worried when I was a kid, but that's great. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing fabulous. Not Trip though. No, that we don't know.
Okay, good. I can be a klutz sometimes, and we won't talk about the other stuff. But yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, memories, Dom.
Yeah, I tend to bring back memories for folks.
It's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Usually try to bring back the good ones. Yeah, the bad ones usually end up in a tree joke.
Well, I think the trick is turning all those bad memories into some great learning experience, and then they don't feel so bad anymore.
Sounds like a solution from a solutionary.
It is.
Woo! Well, as with all introductions, they're not allowed to be 537 days long, so mind filling in any cavities or miss some things in the introduction to fill us in. Who is the lovely Linda?
Gosh, no, I think you did a great job there, except that we are all a product of life experiences, and somehow we all end up with our titles, don't we? The lawyer title, the mother title, and all the other stuff. And so, I think in terms of me personally, if I could shed all the titles, I would just be a person out here who wants to make sure that I leave the world in a better place than I found it. And I don't know why that's so important to me. I have some great suspicions, but it is, and pretty much my daily work is all about that. And these days, it's not hard to find plenty to do to make the world a better place, right? There's a lot of work out there.
Oh, yeah, and a lot of different work, too. It's like, yep, this is the era where you're really going to find more solutions to problems, because you're basically trapped and you're forced to think for yourself unless you got a lot of distractions hidden in your home.
Yeah. These kind of times bring a lot of innovation. I feel super positive. I mean, I feel very bad for the people that are in the middle of extreme heartache right now, whether it's the loss of a loved one, or caretaking someone who's sick, or a loss of a job, or But I honestly think our eyes are being opened up to so much that we're going to come back out so strong that things are going to be different. There will be a new normal and it's not going to be the same again. So I'm trying to hold that lens for myself so that I don't get caught in the influx of daily bad news.
That's right, because we got to make our own news, our own good news.
We do have to make our own good news. And it's not easy right now. It really isn't easy right now because I'm trying something this week that was suggested to me by a mastermind that I'm in, and that was to not look at the phone for the first hour of the day. I was getting sucked in, being by myself. I use my phone as my sound machine, as my alarm clock, as everything else. And so I would every morning just reach for the phone and immediately look at all the messages, immediately look at all the emails and skim all the news. And I hadn't even had a cup of coffee. And by the time I even got out of bed, my shoulders felt so heavy. So this week I've really been working on saying, okay, I'm not gonna download all this negative stuff this week for the first hour. I'm gonna have some coffee, maybe read something that's a little inspirational or listen to a podcast that's inspirational, and then I'll sit down and I will take it in. But I'm finding that I'm looking at it completely differently because now I'll skim through it and not just feel the heaviness of it before I even start my day. I don't know, maybe that's part of a solution right there. It is for me.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And it's kind of interesting that you mentioned how heavy your shoulders were after going through all of that because it's like you're taking in so much at a time and you didn't even need to put any weights on a darn bar at the gym.
I know, right? Right? Your shoulders just feel so heavy when you read all this. And yet when you look at it, so much of the news is the same. Like every single day, it really doesn't change that much right now. And so I was looking at the Skim or the New York Times, or other people are looking at CNN when they wake up to glance at what's going on. And oh my God, it was just bad everywhere until you get the little part about what recipe should you cook tonight with the cans of food that you have on the shelf right now. And I didn't realize how deeply it was affecting me. I felt so sad every morning. And heck, we just can't move forward like that. We have to find some joy during our days and begin to think of, how we're going to look when we step out of this.
I say fabulous. How about you?
Yes, that's unlike you, who's going to the gym every day, I need to do that a little more often. So, I'm going to have to get the weights out and find other things to do here in the house. Lift the dog up and down 10 times. I don't know. But quit all that baking, I guess.
There you go, unless you're baking a success cake.
Yeah. What is that?
Yeah, it's where you take a bunch of ingredients that make success. So what would be in your success cake?
I think what would be in my success cake would be tenacity. I think you have to latch onto something that's important to you and then have some stickiness to it, and not be wondering. It's very easy for me to have that kind of shiny penny thing. So I have to be. I'm pretty good about sticking to it, and then finding something meaningful. And for me, that one of the reasons that I wrote Solutionaries was because I had so many people that were showing up that had been referred to me by other people to help them figure out what made their heart sing and how they could bring it into their business. And I think they were being referred to me because I have a nonprofit that does microfinance projects with women around the world, and I'm also a business lawyer. And I mean, at first I was like, why are all these strangers calling me? 4 phone calls in 4 days. And I think someone was saying, well, she's found the answer. She's doing service work, and she's also doing, her job, her business job. And for me, part of the success of my success case would be doing service work. I mean, if you have a project where you are doing something to make the world feel better, people around you feel better, some social service work of some sort that's connected to your heart, that really is the main ingredient of success for me.
Sweet. That's what I'm talking about right there. Tenacity. Gotta never quit. And definitely gotta help others too.
To help others. And it's not, it's kind of, I mean, the helping others is important. I mean, the helping others is important. And I think most human beings by nature want to help others. I really do believe that that is part of our DNA. But I think it's even deeper than that. I think it's taking a look at your life experiences and really understanding what experiences shifted your perception so that you value something. And now, how can you take those values forward in a way that you can do something that is meaningful to you? And that really is that's a major part of the work that I do with people, is looking back and going, okay, what happened to you when you were a kid that shifted the way that you looked at the world so that it's important to you to have this in your life? Like if you were lied to as a child, it's probably important to you to have honest relationships. Or if you didn't have education as a kid, it's probably really important to you to be able to learn and to share your learning with others. And so those are the things that I think really matter. And those are the things that you wake up each day and that you move forward positively if you really understand what's important to you.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And I guess that just really comes with self reflection and just really getting out there and being around others that are be open to you and share what they see your strengths are, and then look within yourself and see if they actually match, kind of like the whole
Yes.
lighting a flame sort of thing, metaphorically.
Yep, it's exactly that. And I think that what happened was I had when all those people started calling me, I was working on the social responsibility toolkit. I had been in corporate America as general counsel of various companies, and I had really believed that these companies needed to come in and create impact programs, where their employees were concerned and their customers showing up as good corporate citizens. So I was kind of working on that book to help these smaller companies set these programs up when I started getting phone calls from all these other people. And so I set that down and I invited them all into my home and told them to bring other people and said, look, I'll run a workshop for you and I won't charge you anything. I just want to know if it helps you. And so the first step was to take a look back at experiences that had happened in your childhood or in high school or as a young married person or a first job, and find something, a value word attached to each of those experiences, like what I mentioned a few minutes ago. And then I took a look at it with them. I said, well, do I actually know what's important to you? I mean, do you put that in your resume? Do you put that on your LinkedIn profile? Or are you just listing job titles and duties? Kind of like we were talking about a few minutes ago. I can be a product of my titles, but that's not necessarily who I am. And are you using words in those profiles where I can see you? Like I had one woman, for example, that thought she was adventuresome, but she was in IT. She didn't think that anybody knew that she was adventuresome, but we wove those words in and out. That was a really important value to her, word to her. We wove it in and out of her LinkedIn professional that she was an adventuresome soul who enjoyed X, Y, Z. Well, the truth is I want to hire someone that's adventuresome because it shows me that they're innovative and that they're creative. But sometimes we don't show who we are. We're afraid to. We just list our job skills and duties. So once we kind of moved through that process, we took a look at, well, what are some things that interest you and bother you? Because, when they called, they didn't really know. So we just looked at social issues, because that gets back to my personal belief that it's when you're committed to service in a social issue, that's what will hold your heart. And they found a handful of things that they were really interested in. It could have been cyberbullying. It could have been, like I say, education. Who knows what it was for them. And then we said, go look at the tribe out there who's actually working to solve that social issue, the company, or the group of people. And then that's probably your tribe. That's probably your group of people that you're going to be able to connect with because you're you resonate with the work they're trying to do. And now, just like you said a few minutes ago, Dom, the idea is, do they also have the same values as you? Because you probably don't have any chance for success if you and they don't have the same values. We've all worked at companies that later we went, what the heck? This company doesn't believe what I believe at all. And by the time they went through that process, they actually understood what was important to them, how they were showing up so that other people with the same values could find them, and then who was in the space working and how to go over there and actually begin to find work that would be sustainable to the extent that they would want to stay there for a while with that same tenacious spirit. And then I had accidentally, by the time I went through all that work with those people, I didn't know it, but I had accidentally written Solutionaries. You want the answer, because the work that I did with the group ended up with the publisher, and like I say, and it did pretty well. So it wasn't even an intentional book.
And you even got Les Brown to write the foreword.
Yes, he's a friend, and I'm so appreciative. In fact, I spoke with him last week. He's launching his own new book, which we can all support. And he sent me a note about it. I can't right this minute. I need to go back and look at a little bit more about it. I don't have all the information on it, but he is an amazing human being, and I deeply respect him.
That's right. And doesn't look a day over 40.
He's 75, but he looks phenomenal, and he still has the best laugh and the best spirit. I mean, I have laughed with him until I had tears pouring down my face. He's just that kind of person.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The L's got to stay together. We got the Linda, we got the Les. That's right.
He's a good guy, He's kind of, I think this was before podcast, but he did radio DJ stuff and everything else in his early career. So he's got that voice, kind of like yours, deep voice.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The legendary DJ turned commissioner turned ultra success. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But it's fabulous though that you're able to write that book. And the good news is that when we were talking before the podcast, you mentioned how that book came out first before your upcoming book that you originally was going to write.
I know. Isn't that funny? The way life works, the way God works, the way whatever works. Now that book is I'm going to have to really go back and relook at Social Responsibility Toolkit with a new set of fresh eyes, given the way our businesses are going to shift here in the next few months or the upcoming months. I mean, we're already seeing companies that are pivoting right now, pivoting their entire manufacturing process. It could be Dyson vacuum cleaners that's now doing respirators. I'm seeing United Airlines is using their planes to deliver medical supplies and everything else. And this is something that I've wished for a very long time, that our corporate scene would get really engaged and deeply involved in the social sector, because they have the money and they have the power. And so, Social Responsibility Toolkit was, for me, kind of trying to teach them maybe how to do that. And now that I'm watching them step up and do that, I think I'm probably going to go back and look at everything I've written in that book and add a lot of new material in. So yeah, but that's the way it's a business book though. Like I say, it's not, both of my books are really development books. I mean, Solutionaries is for individuals who want to make a difference, and then Social Responsibility Toolkit is for companies that want to make a difference. Kind of gets back to what I said in the beginning, that is something that's critically important to me personally.
Yes, indeed. And it's good that you did that as well. So will there be an audio version of book 2, or heck, even book 1 coming soon with you reading it?
I don't know that that's I've looked at this book and talked with my publisher about it, but the truth is, it's a whole set of guides. There may be another book someday. I have, like most people who write anything, you have a lot of books in your head, right? So I have children's books I'm interested in writing, and I have some other books that I'm interested in writing that might be more well suited for audio than this one. You can get it on Kindle and stuff, although I think actually having the book and being able to download all the forms and stuff, because I have URLs in there, is good. And I've also thrown it into an online class called Illuminate, because it really is about thinking through and reflecting and actually coming up with the perfect work for you. And so they can sign up for Illuminate as well. And all the stuff that's in the book is fully downloadable, so they can have it on their PC and they can work through all the guidebooks and everything else. I'm actually happy, now that you've mentioned that, I'm happy to provide discount code to your listeners, and I'll send it over to you later, so if they're interested in doing the online class, I'm happy to, let's see, what could we do? I don't know, how about a 40% discount or something pretty steep for them? But that would give them the materials right on the computers, and what better time than right now to think through this kind of stuff.
Sweet. Yes, indeed. The 40% discount, call that the midlife crisis discount, right?
Yes. Well, midlife crisis, it is interesting about this work that you said that, because there are a lot of boomers, and I am one of them. And there's a lot of boomers who are coming back now. Maybe they left, corporate America or whatever else in their 50s, and they now want to have a business that's a legacy business, because they go, I spent all those years just making money or doing that, but I didn't really do anything that I feel good about. And so this work is really great for legacy business. But on the flip side, I'm also seeing that it's really good for Gen Zs, because millennials are already in the workforce, right? These next gens that are coming out of college that have a heart to serve, but maybe they don't know where to start. They just know they want to participate in the solutions, and they don't know where to start. So I'm saying that it's really good for, kids coming out of school. And recently a principal at a high school was like, this is perfect for our high school kids who have a community project, but they don't know where to begin on that. So I've been very interested in seeing the different audiences that have shown up. I even spoke with the head of the Women's Veterans Association here in Texas, and we talked about the fact that it's probably a really good reflective work for vets who are coming back, because they too have a heart to serve, but it's hard to translate the job skills they had in the military, perhaps over to the civil sector, and where do they begin in the civil sector. So surprisingly, for me, it touches a lot of audience. It's not a narrow niche.
Ah. And that's the good thing about when you really seek to really make an impact, is the fact that it becomes bigger than you, and not just about women, but the men usually come in too and just help out. So that way
Mm-hmm.
it's good for everybody.
It's good for everybody. It really is. I had this thought this morning, as a matter of fact. I was asked by this, I'm in a mastermind with some other people, and we were asked to write down our perfect day so that we could start visualizing our perfect day. And for me, I don't know why it hit me this morning, but my perfect day for me wasn't about visualizing stuff for Linda, but my perfect day was now when I walk down the street, people are on the other side of the street with their dogs, but people are genuinely asking other people, how are you? Like, one young lady was sitting on her balcony the other day, and I looked at her and was like, how are you? And she said, I'm lonely. I said, I'm lonely too. And for me, that perfect day is going to be all the things that we take out of this pandemic that we should be doing moving forward. We're all being more conscious of plastic. Like, oh my God, I look at my saran wrap now, I'm like, okay, I only have a box. Well, maybe if we'd been conscious of all this before, we wouldn't have some of the other issues we have out there. So I don't know how I'm going to write this, because I was asked to write about this, but my perfect day wasn't about me. It was about what we're doing as a collective coming together. That
Ah,
sounds very philosophical, doesn't it? But I guess that's where we are. We're doing a little reflecting and philosophy in our own homes right now, if we have the time. If we're not trying to homeschool our kids, work remotely, you know, deal with another person in the house that we wish we weren't spending so much time with, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. We have a little time for reflection.
that's right. It's mirror time.
Yes, right? Yes.
Yes, indeed, and it's really interesting the fact that you mentioned that activity because sometimes that perfect day thing that was really hard for me in the beginning because it's like, well, not really sure. It kind of goes back to the whole solutionary thing where a lot of folks would come to not knowing what they want, and then you would help them get to where that point where they know where they need to go to get started. And it sounds like really you're coming from a place of just assisting and helping others continually is like my perfect day involves really caring for other people and just really just acknowledging other people, making them feel important. Kind of like with the lady on the balcony, her being alone too. It's like, hey, we're the lonely duo. It's kind of an
Yeah,
oxymoron, but
right?
yeah.
Well, and also, you know, when you have that conversation, you're validating another person's feelings, and it can be a complete stranger. But um, I think we all need to be validated in our feelings right now, whatever they are, because I mean, there is no wrong. And I honestly, that question should have been so easy. I've done vision boards for years, and I would put on the vision board the house I wanted, the dog I wanted, the projects I was working on, you know, all the stuff. But they weren't always about material things. They were. I remember one year I was going through a divorce, and I didn't know what to do. I was trying to make a lot of decisions, and I didn't realize that I had subconsciously cut out the word clarity 20 times, and I needed clarity, and ultimately I got that. Um, but now all that stuff isn't that's the stuff part isn't meaning as much to all of us. People are cleaning out their houses like no tomorrow, right? And I think they're going to recenter on the more important things. I don't know. Maybe I'm Pollyanna here. Who knows, right?
Left. I was messing with you.
Hmm?
I was messing with you, not left. I'm just messing with you. But yeah, you're definitely right though, because the whole cleaning thing. It funny enough, a lot of folks, heck, even me included, sometimes they just to do some actual spring cleaning a little early, get some things out of there. Because it's like, well, kind of not going to wear these jeans anymore. I mean, it's been a few years,
Hmm.
among with other stuff that's been lying around that needed to be gone and needed to find another home or the garbage can or something for a long time. So it's really just giving folks the time to really get some things that they've been meaning to do for so long.
Yeah, there's some kind of I don't know if you call it hyperbole or what, but there's something here with this everybody cleaning out their houses. I mean, we're cleaning out the planet too, right? The air over Beijing and Shanghai and stuff, and places in India and New York City is clearing up with less of us driving our cars around and, you know, working at the factories, and the water in Venice is clear. You can see the fish, and I mean, there's this whole cleaning out thing going on, and I just think if you look externally, you can see it, but I think they're doing it internally in their homes and in their thought process too. And maybe, I don't know. I am. Are you? I think you are. You just said you were, right?
Oh yeah, yes indeed. And reflection's usually part of my day anyway, so it ain't nothing new for me. Now it's like, all
Are
right,
you a meditator?
oh yeah, every day 5 minutes of silence. Use the snooze button for silent moment
Mm-hmm.
time to just be. Sometimes be with
Mm-hmm.
thoughts. I won't even have to shave my head either.
There are a lot of people doing that right now, right?
It's like, yep, it's time to go bald. Just forget it.
I have seen more stuff about people cutting their hair, cutting their spouse's hair, you know, I looked at my little grandson the other day on a FaceTime, and I asked my daughter, I was like, did he get a haircut? And she goes, well, I tried to cut his hair. I've never seen his hair so short. So they're just trying to make their life easier right now.
That's right, indeed. So since we're in the whole reflection phase, if you were to wake up tomorrow and you were 25 again, but this time in the current year of 2020, with all of your amassed knowledge and experience, what advice would you give to yourself?
Hmm. I think I would give myself, it's taken me a lot of years because now I am in my 60s, but I would go and I would say, it's going to be okay. So many things happened that I had to make my way through as a single mom, and, you know, facing downturns in economies and losing things and losing my parents and things like that. And, you know, I have never been left out on the street, unlike some people. I've always managed to come through, even things that I never thought. I mean, I've had other people say, how did you get through that? And I would say, I don't know. I just woke up each day and I put one foot in front of the other, and I didn't think about 2 days later or 3 days later. I just kept moving forward. And I think that I could have taken a lot of the pain away had I known back then that everything would be okay. So that's probably what I would say to my 25-year-old self. It's going to be okay.
That's right, with the big K, indeed. Yes, indeed. And then it'll be over. Oh, yeah, it'll be okay.
It'll be okay. Yeah, it'll
Oh,
all be okay. And this will all be okay that we're going through right now, too. Believe it or not, it's all going to be okay. And generally, when I look back, it was better later once I got over the big hump. It was actually better than it was before. I learned, I became more discerning. I grew every time I was cracked open. Um, and you just don't know that when you're younger. You don't know that you'll be okay.
gotta love that resilience. Gotta love that resilience indeed. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Woohoo! Well, for those who want to keep in, yeah, it's a habit.
Ask me deep questions, you're going to get deep answers, Dom.
Hey, I'm all for the deep answers. It's all good. It is all good. Because deep thought is what we need, especially when you bring it to earth.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Because what happens on earth stays on earth.
Thank God.
That's right.
Literally.
Linda's like, nah, we can't take some of this nonsense back to Venus. No, can't do it. Sure as I can't taking it to
No.
Mars.
No, gotta leave it here. Gotta leave it here. It's like Las Vegas.
Well, that's not talking about indeed. So, for those who want to keep in magical contact with the lovely Linda, what's the best way for folks to reach out to you?
They can reach out to me. Like I say, if they go to my website, the lindalattimore.com website, there's a contact page that has a calendar. They can schedule 30 minutes, or they're welcome to write me at linda@lindalattimore.com. And I would be happy to set a time up with them if they forget about the website. And like I say, I'll create some discount codes, and I'll send them over to you for your listeners if anyone is interested in joining me on one of my masterminds to figure all this stuff out together.
Oh, yeah. Together like peanut butter and jelly. That's what I'm talking about.
There you go. Probably what I'll have for lunch today.
There you go. Extend the youth. That's what I'm
Thanks for
talking
the
about.
idea.
Oh, my pleasure indeed. I'm all about the ideas too. So,
Well, thanks for inviting me onto your show. It's been fun to talk to you.
ah, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thanks for accepting the invitation. I enjoy your company. We need to have you back on soon, indeed, especially for book two when it releases.
Yes, Yeah. If another accidental book doesn't show up along the path, good, that's the way life is, right? You never know. You just have to keep your eyes open all the time for opportunities because they present themselves pretty much every day, all day.
That's right, all day indeed. So, any parting words for the folks still listening, Linda?
Yeah, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And it's going to be better than okay. Really, that's it. If I could tell anyone anything, I say it to myself, and it's all going to be okay. And as a matter of fact, if they'll just in every conversation that you have with somebody, look for opportunities. And maybe the opportunity is just saying, like I did to the young lady on her porch that day, how are you? But look for those opportunities because truly the best things that have ever happened in my life came unexpected to me. They weren't planned. They were just something that showed up, but I always say yes. I never say no. I always say yes. And so maybe give that a try.
Hey there, buddy. Looks like you made it to the end of this episode. Since you made it to the end of this episode, do both of us a favor and stop being greedy. Stop it right now and share this episode with your friends and your fellow podcast lovers, especially those who have book clubs and want to listen to the authors who write some amazing books.